Hello, I'm Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be talking about everything when it comes to part-time jobs in high school. Everything from what kind of job you want to what to do once you've been working there for a while. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about was trying to decide what kind of job that you want. And the first step in that is deciding how much you can work. These are all personal decisions. I can't answer them for you. But is it a job that you only want to work during the weekends because your school is very busy during the week? Is it a job that you only want to work during the week because the weekends are very busy with your family? Is this something you want just for the school year, just for the summer? All of these factors are going to play into it because there are some jobs where you don't get to decide those things. So if none of that really matters to you and flexible hours aren't important to you, you don't really have much to worry about. But if those things are important to you, then it'll be very crucial to find a job with either semi-flexible hours or very flexible hours. When I was looking for a job, I knew that I did not want to work during the school week because I have a lot of homework from my classes and I didn't want any distractions from that. And that's what's worked for me. For some people, they can work during the week and they prefer not to work during the weekends because they have a lot of family functions or they do their homework on the weekends. It just kind of depends on you and your schedule. The second thing you need to do is decide what kind of job you want. And what I mean by that is you need to decide if you want to work in food service, retail, some kind of freelance, being an assistant somewhere, because that will significantly narrow your job search. I would recommend starting off with what you know you don't want to do and kind of go from there. What's kind of ironic for me is I did not really want to work in the food industry, but that's where I work now and I like it just fine. So be prepared that depending upon where you live or what jobs are open, you might not be able to do your first choice, but you should be open to other jobs because maybe you'll like it more than you think. And always note, if you don't like it, there's nothing requiring you to stay working there. Like, if I started the job where I work now and didn't like it, I wouldn't have stayed there for as long as I have. There's no tie to it. So like, if you don't like it, you don't have to keep working there. The next decision you'll need to make is whether you would prefer to work for a locally owned business or a larger corporation. So for example, in my town, there are a lot of locally owned businesses, but there are also corporation options such as like Chick-fil-A or Walmart. So I guess another way to describe that would be chains. I would probably note that corporations are going to be less flexible with their hours and requirements because those are demanded by the corporation and the industry, whereas locally owned businesses can set those things themselves and might be more easy to work with. After you've decided all of these factors, it's time to start actually searching for jobs in your area. To do this, I would recommend using a job search engine such as Indeed. That's what I use. But also word of mouth is a great way to do this. You can ask your friends where they're working, where their older siblings have worked, talk with upperclassmen where they're leaving, there might be openings there. And this is very specific to where you live because if you live in a city, obviously there's going to be a lot more options. So word of mouth might be kind of hard and the job search engine might be easier. But if you live in a small town like me, the job search engine isn't really going to give you that many options, and the best way to learn about openings is from what people are saying around town. Next, you need to collect the details on the jobs that you have found and decide which one or ones you want to apply to. In my case, I applied to 2 jobs and I never heard back from one, and then I heard back from the other one. So that ultimately made the decision for me. But if you apply to multiple jobs and get accepted to multiple jobs but you only want to work at one, then I would just pick the one and get back to the other companies and say, thank you, but I have already committed to work at this place or something like that. Or if you don't want to do that, you think it might be rude, then you could apply to one at a time, but just know that that will make your job selection process take longer. Alright, now that you've got your job, let's talk about how to make good impressions. First, I would say don't be afraid to ask questions. Most likely there's going to be a training period, whether that be one night or multiple nights there's going to be training, and be sure that in that time you ask all sorts of questions, but don't be worried if past the training point you still need to ask questions. I have been working at my job since February and I still ask multiple questions every single night. There are going to be new things that pop up every single time you work, and it's always best to ask because you would rather ask and do it the right way and take a few extra seconds than just to assume something and mess something up. I definitely have messed things up, which brings me to the next point. You are going to mess up, and I know so many people will tell you it will get in your head. If you're anything like me, it definitely got in my head the first few times, but just understanding that there are going to be those errors, but that doesn't really define how good you are at the job, because everybody messes up. It's fine. Just be able to take the criticism from it so it doesn't happen again, and be very open to that. Employers are going to want to see that you're willing to take their advice and criticism and apply it to yourself and change it and be the best employee that you can be. That's all they want to see from you, and you messing up is an example to show them that you can take their criticism and apply it. You also want to make sure that you're dressing professionally. I know some places might have a uniform. Like I was saying earlier, corporations are probably going to have a uniform, where locally owned businesses may or may not. And if they do not have a uniform, they will probably inform you of their dress code. If not, I would ask before showing up. At my place of work, we have the dress code of dark colored jeans, and obviously it needs to be a nicer looking outfit, and you also must wear black shoes. So that is all for our dress code, and beyond that, they just want us to look nice. If you guys would like to see a lookbook with some outfits I wear to work, let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about making one because whenever I started, I wasn't really sure of what appropriate dress was, but I have definitely learned in the past several months working what appropriate dress is, and I feel like that's a question that a lot of people have, because our generation, like, this would be considered a cute outfit at school, but in the workplace, like, this is not a nice outfit. We're just confused because we don't know what we're doing. I would like to help you guys out, so just let me know if you'd like that in the comments. Alright, so now that you've been working at your job for a little bit, you've made a good impression, you've stayed there for several months, I want to talk about the two main things that you've gained from this: experience and money. Let's start with the second one, money. That's the whole reason you're doing this job, right? To get money. So I think it's very important to be able to enjoy your earnings, because if you're slaving away for like 10 plus hours a week to earn money and you're never really rewarding yourself, then you're going to start dreading going to work because you're not seeing the benefits of it. But I do think at the same time it's very important to save money. So since I haven't been working for a full calendar year yet, I haven't set this up, but I plan to set this up in December or early January. I'm going to set up a monthly transfer from my checkings account to my savings account, so that way each month a certain amount of money will be deposited into my savings account. I don't even have to think about it. And for this, you want to make sure it's like enough money to make the transaction just even worthwhile, but at the same time not taking too much money out of your checkings account, so you can still enjoy those earnings and have fun with your part-time job, because that's what you're doing here, earning money, trying to have fun with it, and get some work experience. The second thing is you're going to gain a lot of experience. The experience you gain will vary from job to job. I think there are several things that you will gain from any job you do, no matter what. The first being communication skills. I have learned a lot about communicating with others in my community from this job. I am a hostess at a restaurant. I'm not sure if I mentioned that yet, but I have to greet the customers and go around and talk with the guests that are there, and they might have a question, some history about the town, there might be a complaint or something you need to deal with, and it's a great experience learning how to deal with those situations and navigate that. Also, talking on the phone is a job of the hostess, and I do not like talking on the phone, but I have learned how to handle that very well. In fact, the other night I had a 4.5 minute long conversation on the phone with someone, just giving her history about the area and stuff like that. So you'll definitely gain lots of communication skills. This is not specific to the restaurant industry. I promise you, any job, you'll be communicating with people. Next one is, of course, how to work with someone or work for someone. So this one has probably been the hardest one for me, I guess, because I have grown up being an only child and I guess the goody two-shoes at school, which is why the whole you will mess up thing really got to me. But sort of learning, okay, you're working for someone and they don't expect you to be perfect, just trying to navigate the whole concept of working for someone, I think is really great for people, especially in our generation who I feel like we all have very entrepreneurial mindsets, which is great, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to work for someone at some point most likely, and I think getting some experience of that when you're younger is great, because when you get older, maybe you'll work for someone, maybe you won't, but I think it's good to have that experience just in case. The third thing that you will learn at pretty much any job is money management. You're gonna make money at any job unless if you're doing a volunteer job or something, which isn't even what we're talking about here. So you're going to be learning about how to manage that money, how much to save, how much to spend, do I need to do taxes or not? That sort of thing, all of that will be great experiences because school doesn't really teach you any of that. Those are all things that you need to know. So if you guys like this video where I sort of explained how to get a part-time job, what to do once you've got the part-time job, and what you'll gain from it, then let me know by giving it a thumbs up, comment down below any more questions or videos you'd like to see pertaining to this subject, and be sure to subscribe and have the bell turned on so you can be part of the hashtag M&M Squad, and I'll see you guys in the next video.